His Excellency the President will be visiting Belgium. And to us, this is a very, very special visit. Why do I say it is special? It is special because the President is coming here in his three capacities. And the first capacity is as the President of Kenya. The second capacity is that as the chair of the East African Community. And some people might ask, what is the relationship between what he's coming to do here and the East African Community? I want to indicate that, I represent Kenya in an organization called Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States. These are 79 countries. Amongst these countries is the East African region, which has 15 countries, amongst them majority from East Africa. Therefore, it's only fair that he takes or addresses interests that are unique to the Eastern Africa region. The other thing which is very important, as I said, is also here in his capacity as the President in office of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States. I said there are 79 of them. Out of all these 79 countries, 48 come from Africa. It's a huge number. So again, in that capacity, he must address the interests of not only the 48 African countries, but all the 79 countries. Because what happened, you remember, sometimes back, to be specific, in December in 2019, we had a summit of ends of state and government of OACPS, that organization, 79 countries. And during that summit, our president was elected as the president of the 9th summit. So he is the president in office. And when he wears that hat, it's only fair, again, he addresses issues of concern for the 79 countries. Specifically, the promotion of multilateralism. In that, wherever the president goes, top of the agenda is to make sure that the interests and the visibility of OACPS is felt. And not only felt, be seen to be felt by word and deed. During this visit, he is going to address the Committee of Ambassadors, who are members or represent their respective states. And that is not a mean achievement in that this is going to be almost a few times, I don't know whether to say 3 times, when it has happened in the past. It's an old institution. So for them to be there, that would be wonderful. Why is that critical? Of course, because since we met, a lot of water has flown under the bridge. Things have happened. Because when we were in Nairobi, we came up with something called Nairobi Nguvu ya Pamoja Declaration. Right? This is his mid-term. Because he's supposed to be there for 3 years. If you remember 2019, we are talking about 2022. Therefore, this is like a mid-term review of what has transpired in this very important organization. Kenya has a long, good relationship with the European Union. Because our European Union is our second trading, when it comes to consumption of Kenyan products and what have you, and in terms of actually supporting us financially or working together, they rank number 2. Yeah? I'm talking about them working with us in terms of partnering with us. So we must take, we really value them so much. And that's why we have had a very good relationship stemming from many years. And we are about to negotiate another one from 2022 to 2027, Kenya-EU relationship. And therefore, when the president is here, we are lucky. He is going to meet, as I said, the president of the European Council. And two things will feature there prominently. Chief among them is what we call economic partnership agreement. The other matter which to us is very important, for a long time we have been saying there must be a focused, strategic way of dealing with Kenya issues and the European Union. For this reason, when the president of the Council, Charles Michel, met the president recently in State House, when they met, the issue of upping our game in terms of strategic dialogue between European Union and Kenya was raised. And there was a directive from our two ends of state, two ends, that this matter be moved. They needed to see the need of being moved somehow. So what have we done? We have discussed this matter with our counterparts here. And that's why on the two matters, whether it's economic partnership agreement, whether it is the strategic dialogue, we have the relevant ministers. That's why the Minister for Trade, Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, CS Minor, is going to be here. She will be also supported by the CS for East African Community and Regional Development, Andan Mohamed. He will be here. They are going to hold a meeting with the requisite individuals from the European Union, again, to discuss that matter so that we can move. But I can tell you, having discussed this matter with the European External Service officials, there is a lot of excitement. People are very optimistic on this matter. This strategic dialogue is also very important. As I said, upon the pronouncement of His Excellency the President and His Excellency Charles Michel, our ministries were directed now to come up with a very comprehensive document, which they have done, on strategic dialogue between European Union and Kenya. As 163-page document, it is there. So we want now that has been done, it's in draft form, of course, it must be subjected to due process. In Kenya, in the various institutions within the European Union, and make sure that this baby is born, a bouncing baby, a good baby. Hence the purpose of this also visit. So we expect there's going to be a communique, yes, signed by the President of the European Council and His Excellency the President to indicate clearly the strain has left the situation in these two matters that I've talked about. Economic partnership agreement, as well as the strategic dialogue on diverse matters, without going into details. As I said earlier on, is the issue of OECPS. I said, of course, this post-Cotonou agreement was signed. And I've talked about the mini review. So it is only fair when the president is here, and this is going to happen, you meet the Secretary General of the OACPS, or Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States. Why? So that he can be briefed on what, as I said earlier on, has transpired since 2019. And pick his brain as the president in office in terms of where we should be before he completes his office next year. Right? Because when we were in Nairobi, he was very keen that we have a vibrant OCPS. Yeah, very vibrant, fit for purpose, yes, which is visible, as I said earlier on, everywhere. Kenyans may be aware that we have had what we call Cotonou Agreement, which has been there for the last 20 years, 1975, so to speak. And this was coming to an end in 2020. So we have negotiated another agreement between the European Union and OACPS, the 79 countries. That is what we are calling post-Cotonou Agreement, post-2020, so to speak. And therefore, in its mid-term review, the fundamental question is to ensure that indeed, yes, it wants to see this has kicked off what we achieved since 2019. And apart from that, because we are talking about EU OASPS partnership agreement, he is going to have an opportunity to meet the president of the European Council. President of the European Council is Excellency Charles Michel. Not only to touch on issues as pertains to that particular agreement, but issues that are dear to Kenya. Let's talk about the bilateral relations. We expect that the president, as part of his meeting actually, is going to meet the king, His Royal Highness, the King of Belgians. In that meeting, of course, you mentioned certain things that relate to the two countries. But I want Kenyans to know that this country, Belgium, has quite a good number of investors who invest in Kenya. Quite a good number of them, either as business community or as a nation. And let me start with the business community. The business community even had a mission in 2017, after meeting the president somewhere around in 2016. And in that mission, they addressed issues about energy, investment, and all those things. So part of this is to promote the Belgian investors to go and invest in Kenya. And for them to do that, they would wish to know how is the investment climate in Kenya. And before that, what are the investment opportunities that are in Kenya? And insofar as Belgium and Kenya is concerned, we'll be telling them these are the investment opportunities, and if they have any challenges, they will tell us, they will let us know, and what are the new developments to promote investment. At the moment, we wish, because Belgium exports machinery, it also exports drugs, if you will, and we also to see more of Kenyan exports flowing into this side, because at the moment, there's tea, there's coffee. We keep on telling them coffee and tea are the best in the world. So over and above that, there are other things that they can export. Chief among them is, for example, the mango. The mangoes, we are talking about also, apart from mangoes, I think the other, of course, agricultural products that we can export here. And I think that is the point we want to emphasize. The other thing is that between the two countries, we want to make it easier in terms of taxation. We want to encourage a situation where, again, it is made easier so that there is no double taxation. That matter is going to be addressed here, because when there is double taxation between countries, it makes ease of doing business difficult.